Yes. All right. Taylor.
Okay, so let me technology.
Technology. It's the best.
Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I did a lesson plan on talking about distress versus eustress for more specifically like my grade level, fifth grade, but I bet you could do it honestly with any grade, just um changing it maybe a little bit. So you first have a conversation with your students about whether they felt nervous about things and what their bodies feel when they do feel nervous about something. And then first I have them share with in groups so they get comfortable sharing and then see how many people would share with the class. And that's when you would go in and explain the two different types of stress, talk about de-stress and eustress. And then things you would have to like prep beforehand is having a poster on the brain that talks about the amygdala, the prefrontal cortex, and your hippocampus. Um, so you'd bring that up and you would talk about those functions of the brain and then explain how uh, like eustress can help your prefrontal cortex and your hippocampus. Um, oh, can I do something? Oh, you still see? I just clicked a button. We're still good?
Yeah, we can still see. Yeah, we can still
Okay.
see everything. Sorry, I was
Uh,
muted.
No, it's okay. And so you would talk about eustress helping your prefrontal cortex and hippocampus remember better, and how when you're in distress, it can make it harder to think and stay calm and remember things. And so then I included like a little video to watch because kids usually like videos. And then you would do a group activity where, again, you'd have to make a poster beforehand where you have the two columns of distress and eustress. And then you would disperse sticky notes to each table group. You would have them come up with two examples of when they've experienced distress versus when they've experienced eustress. You would collect them all and then you'd read each one aloud. And you would have students either do some type of movement where if they think it's de-stress, they do like a thumbs up or they stand up. And if they think it's eustress, they would be sitting down or giving you a thumbs down, something like that. And then you could have people explain their thinking and why they think it's this versus that. And then for the exit ticket, just to see what they got out of it, you would have them brainstorm ways to help them cope with stress. And then it would be fun if you had the time to invite them to share their ways of coping with these. And then if you were able to, you could try them out with the class so they could experience ways to kind of calm themselves when they are dealing with stressful situations. And that was it.
Um, and if anyone wants to comment on somebody else's presentation, please feel free. This is kind of just an open
Yeah.
community, but I think that was really great. And I kind of want to check out what that YouTube video is that you posted.
Yeah, and I'm watching, I'm thinking, wow, this is multimodal. You're using, all these different senses. You're getting examples from the students, so they're, in the process of doing things. At the end of it, you're having them reflect, you're having them do social learning, and then you're relating it to their own practical example. So, and it's an important concept. So, like one check mark after another, right? It's like, oh wow, it's doing this, and it's doing this, and it's doing this. Really, really cool lesson plan. I
Thank you.
think and I'm hoping that as you all see these, you're also thinking, wow, I can use this in my class, or I can share this with other teachers because that's the whole purpose. Well, there's a lot of purposes. That's, one of the purposes is we want more and more people to be able to get these skills, and so there's other teachers in your schools who you think could use these lesson plans with their kids. Please share them. So Taylor, great work.
Very nice. All right. Anybody else want to go next?
I can go.
Awesome. Thank you, Heather.
All right, I just have to try to share my screen.
I know it's always terrifying, isn't it? What am I
I
sharing?
don't know. I always have so many tabs up. All right. Is it on there?
It's coming up.
Yeah,
There it is.
there it is.
All right. So what I decided to do, because like when we were doing like like during COVID time, like it was this whole like boot camp for like, I teach kindergarten. So it was like boot camp for like the alphabet. And so I was just like, this would be so fun to do like a boot camp. And so I took all the different sessions and I just took something from each part. And then I just put something in there. So the first one was take a breath, reset, and that was the bubble bounce. And these are all in here to share. Um, and you see that when I'm changing the slides, right?
Hmm.
Okay. And then like why take a breath and reset? And this, I just had like how many times we've heard I can't do this. And then especially in the beginning of the year, and there's tons of tantrums and tears. And when we make our class constitution of rules, we say I can't is a bad word. And it's actually very cute to see the kids say, oh, you can't say that. It's a bad word. Say I can't. You can't do it yet. So they're catching on and they're kind of doing that. And then that goes into like the no, I can't, and yes to the power of yeah. And that's like the no, fight, flight, or freeze. You just breathe and you make it fun, adventure, and enjoy the ride, which was kind of like, in the sessions that we talked about, like I'm trying to make it really simple for Kay. And this is a cute little quick video. Then there are different books to support, to challenge, and the adventure of mind shifting for your kids. And these books really are great, and they're great not just for primary, they really work in all of elementary. Um, and then I have the no, I can't instead of the perhaps I can, like that shifting. And that we've been using this to break down the tasks that seem so difficult, like so hard. And like one of the things was I can't write my name, but we can do a J and then we can do an O, and now we're almost there. Let's keep going. And so that was one of the things that I took away. Then like, and when that third letter is really tricky and we need to breathe again, there's the square box breathing that I found was really beneficial for the kids. And then going into being a flexible thinker, and you can understand that there's more than one way to do it. So rather than saying to littles, like, you're stuck in a script, like this is kind of like my way of making it for them. And that there's more than one way to think and respond, and really being flexible helps us think in a creative and empathetic way. And here's a little example of being a flexible thinker. And these are all really short videos, and but really hit exactly the points that we've talked about in class. Here's a flexible thinking one, to just unstick your stuck self. And when we're only seeing that one way out, this is helping us to realize like, oh, we can take a detour and then still reach our goal. Then I have the fun challenges, to face challenges and make it fun. And I'm sure everybody's seen this little TED talk with this little guy talking about sports people that have like, no, they weren't the greatest, but with the practice and the grit and the facing a challenge, you become the best you can. And that's super fun for kids and for grown-ups to remember. Then the Cookie Monster lesson never gets old, and that we can tweak this with the happy and sad and making your own emotional cookie jar in the classroom. And also they could have personal class cookie jars. We have a ton of these little jars that I had like a couple of my kids that were really struggling. And it was like, let's just put in what we did. And now we're working towards making a class cookie jar, an emotional cookie jar. Then this is one of our favorites, to reset and to focus on what we can do. And that's the body scanner, which we talked about before. And then this is amazing video to rewrite our script and face challenges with multiple strategies about resilience and how challenges that we face are really helping us grow, like how we talked about that the challenges are really just opportunity for us to learn. And this is our daily reset. And this is our meditative yoga that we do. And then the positive self-talk part and not beating ourselves up. Oops, I got to fix ourselves. And then quieting our limbic brain. And there's, let's like, has affirmations and positive self-talk. And then this is one that we do. We present for our annual PBIS assemblies. And I always do the one with Snoop Dogg. And the kids dress up like Snoop Dogg. It's really cute. And they sing this affirmation song. It's a minute. And the last one was Mastering Your Resourceful Brain. And it's a story about a girl who makes a million mistakes and then she learns from them.
How did you ever find all these resources?
A lot of them, like I was kind of using, and but then I just
Wow.
looked, like I looked at each session, and then I was like, okay, here's the session that we did. How can I apply that to the kindergarten level? So I
Uh-huh.
just kind of looked through different videos that were quick and appropriate, but then really with just those mindset like that. We need to reset and like trying to make it as simple for them to say the same information. If that makes sense.
Awesome. I do something really similar with my kindergartners, but I really like how you've organized it into like those different
Mhm.
parts. And some of those books I haven't even heard of, so now I'm really
Oh
excited.
yeah, use it, use it, use it. But like, and that's, I mean, obviously you're not going to use it all at one time, but I tried to do all the sessions that we talked about, like each different slide,
Oh, yeah.
slideshow that we had and tap into each one.
Definitely a useful resource. I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna steal it
Good,
from
good.
you.
Happy, makes me happy. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, and just one of the things that I really love is, we teach this material and we're teaching it for adults, but to see it translated so that it hits, kids of different ages is like so cool. So, Heather, great work.
Thank you.
Very good job. Um, okay, let's just keep the ball rolling. Thank you, Heather, again. Who would like to
I'll go.
go
I'll
next?
go next. If
Yeah,
I really hate to follow her because
I know,
mine
it's
is
so hard.
mine is not that creative, but
Wonderful
so
in its own way.
what do I have to? I just have to share.
Yep, if you just click the share button and then click the tab that you want to share, it should
Okay.
work for everybody.
Okay. It's
And if
not
somebody,
showing.
by the way, has a computer or you do this on a phone or whatever and you can't share, either Jane or I can share these. In fact,
Okay.
probably even Tammy could share them.
Okay, so I included two links. One, and I'll tell you where I got this from. It's mindfulness and reading, growing our reading powers. I just did like a simple lesson plan with the objective of students will be able to practice mindfulness techniques to enhance their reading experience and comprehension. And where I got the idea was because I started looking into this more since taking this class, and Cornell has a research study that I was reading about that talked about mindfulness. Students improved their reading scores and their fluency and their comprehension when they were taught and when they were spent some time doing some mindfulness before reading. So I thought that was a great idea. So I just made like a very simple lesson plan, just to draw attention to the kids, show them some things they can do a little bit with their breathing techniques, reading a short passage, modeling, having them work together, as well as the independent practice. And then I included some slides there as well. We're big on reflection now too. So after going through this process, having if the students are old enough, so I did this about third grade, could they complete a reflection worksheet to describe their feelings if they felt like that helped them after they read? Well, I don't in my classroom, but in our schools, the big thing too is to have like these mindfulness corners and relaxing that would give the students a place to read and share what they learned with their families at home, hoping that they would be able to transfer what they learned when they're reading at home. So I originally did this in Canva and I could not figure out how to share it because we have such strict limits on what we can do there. So it turned over to PowerPoint, which does not have the same font and everything. So I apologize. And these are just some slides that you could share with the class, talks about what is mindfulness in reading. Instead of I can't, perhaps you can. I kind of always had something like that on my board, and I really like the way that that's worded. You can pick just right books. I can read in a cozy spot. I can take brain breaks. I can be proud each time I finish a chapter, and I can read slowly and take my time. The big thing with me is when I work with the struggling readers, their confidence is really low. So they feel a little more comfortable in my small group, and we really try to build them up. So I try to make them proud after everything that we do. Some simple things too: find the spot, take 3 deep breaths, maybe using like something special like a bookmark, give yourself a high five. And again, read slowly or take your time. And then I just did include just a few reference of some books to inspire mindfulness. If you want to use the books to model and anything, obviously mindfulness can be used with any text that they're reading, but these are good just to model that. And that's it.
Love your graphics. They're really cool.
Oh, thanks. I was saying when I'm pretty good at like technology, but I don't know. They're throwing stuff at us left and right. I can't figure out how to do it.
Yeah, you're using Canva, and it's not probably a school account, so there's certain restrictions, and it's like one thing after another, right?
Yeah, they're giving us a lot of accounts that are just owned by the district, so you
Hmm.
can't like do too much outside of them.
Yep. Um,
Thank you.
One of the things that you did, which really helps in so many different ways, is you've linked it directly to academics. So a lot of, when a lot of the techniques and mind shifting and stuff, you think about it as standalone techniques, but what you've done, you've kind of integrated it right into reading, which you have to teach reading anyhow. And so the mindfulness increases the kids' confidence and their changes their mindsets. So then the reading goes hopefully significantly faster, and then you pull in reflection, and you even have things that integrate with their families. So all of those put together, it's pretty incredible, right?
Thank you. I appreciate it. This has been a very good class too. I feel like I've learned a lot, and no matter where like I'm coming from reading, but there's so many of variety of educators in here. I think it's just applicable to everyone. So thank
And
you
and
again.
Barbara, and you agree that New York apples are better than Washington apples, right?
New York apples? Yeah,
Yeah, there we go.
Don't do
of course.
it.
I've actually never been to Washington, but
Huh?
I've been to
Come on
Northern
down.
California.
We have really good fruit. It's fantastic.
I don't think your weather's better than ours, so I don't think I'll go, but thank you.
I could go next if you're looking for
Yes,
Yeah,
someone.
great.
please.
Um,
Thank you again.
I have a little power outage at my house, so I don't want to lose power, so I might as well go early in advance. I'm gonna need someone to share my screen, Michelle Procius. It's the
Okay.
one with the M&M activity.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's like the third one down.
Right now, looks like there's two URLs there. Um, maybe. I don't know. It's
Try the first one should
the
be it.
first
If you
one.
just click it, it should open.
So I'll just share my screen then
Yeah, go ahead.
and make it larger so make it easier for people to see,
Okay.
maybe even more. Okay, and you'll tell me, Michelle, when you want me to
Yeah,
scroll down or
sure. So, I am being observed this week, so I thought, oh, this is perfect. I'll write my lesson with the sage brain and the saboteurs in my lesson, and my administrator loved it. She had never heard of it before. So when I was looking up, we were doing line plots for math, and I wanted to do something fun, so I was doing M&Ms. That the kids will open up the bags, they'll count how many M&Ms, we'll record those on a line plot, so we have numerical data. And then we're going to also plot categorical data for the colors. But before we do it, I thought, how am I going to get them to come back and be, calm after an exciting morning, and the administrator is going to come in. So I just Googled mindful activity with M&Ms. And I tried it today with Lifesavers because I figure, oh my gosh, these kids are going to have M&Ms in their hands and they're going to be melted before we even get to do this activity.
Wait a minute. I thought it was a candy that doesn't melt in your hands, melts in your mouth. I mean, I
I know.
remember those ads. So,
Right? And I
right.
just, and thank goodness that I had a last minute thought today to do it with like mint Lifesavers
Hmm,
because I could hear the wrappers crinkling and
hmm,
they wanted to eat them so bad. And I had to keep telling them, do not open them, do not open them. So it went really well today with Lifesavers. But the
hmm.
thing with Lifesavers is it takes forever to melt in your mouth. So at the end, I was like, okay, now crunch away, crunch, crunch, crunch. So, but the lesson that I have here for you guys is with M&Ms, and it talks about, having them look at the M&M, hold the candy, take a look, hold it in your hand, notice what it looks like, and now smell the candy. And when I was doing this with Lifesavers, the kids would like take in a deep breath, and it was so cute. I had never done it before. And I said, feel the candy. And of course, the Lifesaver had like textures on it. So tomorrow's chocolate's going to be melted before we even get to it. You all know how hot it is in the classroom. And then savor the taste. And they're not allowed to chew it. So you have to keep reminding them, don't chew it, don't take a bite. And then I asked them, like, did your mind wander? Are you thinking about something other than your piece of candy? Come back to your candy. And we all sat on the floor together, and it was really kind of cool. And I'm really looking forward to doing this with my administrator tomorrow. And I'm even going to give her a piece of M&M candy and have her do it too. And it's going to be interesting how long that M&M stays in their mouth. So I told my administrator in my pre-observation that I'm hoping when we get to the line plot exercise that they've already had one, so they're not going to try to eat them all before we get to the line plot. And so I included all those things in there so she could see. She had never heard of it before. So I actually taught her something. So then in my lesson, we'll open the bag of M&Ms. I'll model for them how to count them, how to record them. We put them in color groups. And then I let the kids go and they each get their own little like fun size bag. So then at the end of the lesson, we'll all come back and we will put it on one big line plot for the whole class. So we'll be able to compare it because the lesson I'm doing, the standard is reading, organizing data, collecting data, and interpreting data. So started it out with a little mindfulness and then ending it with them actually getting to do the activity, and then they can eat all their M&Ms the way they want at the end.
That's a lot of M's, right? Mindfulness, M&M's, map, right?
Yes. But if you
That's
look up
great.
there's so many candies. You just type in mindfulness activity with, and oh my gosh, they're everywhere.
That's
No,
a
that's
great tip.
great. Then you can bribe them with it to pay attention at the end, right?
Yeah. And the other cool thing that they attached in the mindfulness activity, I can't, Rob, can you turn that off? Sorry. So the other thing at the end of the mindfulness activity was you could turn the colors of the M&M into different writing activities. So if somebody had orange, they might write about um, their thoughts in school. Or if you have red, you write about your thoughts at home. And but you can make any idea that you want, so that not the all 20 kids aren't writing about the same thing. So as you can get that color, and that's what they're thinking about until the M&M melts in their mouth. And then after that, then they write about what they thought about. I thought that was neat too. If I was
Wow.
doing an ELA lesson.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I love it. I think that's fantastic.
thank
Um,
you.
it's always good to mix in candy and sweets, right?
I thought for Halloween, you know?
Why not? No,
I
great job.
and I think in 6 years of teaching, mind shifting, I don't think I've ever seen a lesson with candy before, right? That is so cool.
Thank you.
Um, all right. Well done, guys. These are amazing. Who would like to share next?
I can go next.
All right. Do you need us to share for you, or are you able to
Um,
share your screen?
yes, please, if you could share for me, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want
Do
me
you
to
got
do it?
that one?
Sure. I
Sure.
just
Why don't we have you do
If I
that and
have
I'll do the
two
talking.
links, you only should need to share the first one. The second one was just like a written description to give it some context.
Gotcha.
okay. So the maybe I'm sharing. Let me see if I'm sharing the right one now. Is this the right one that you wanted?
Yes.
Okay, good.
So this is something about maybe 2 weeks ago I implemented into my classroom after one of our sessions. So I teach in the juvenile detention center. I work primarily with high school and middle school students. And every morning I try to do a mindfulness activity with my students, and I teach a new mindfulness technique every week. So we practice the same technique once a day every week. Um, and I was really struggling to get buy-in with it. So I decided to change it up, kind of using what I had learned by teaching them how to check their pulse and measure their beats per minute of their heart rate. So we come in every morning, they pull these out along with some other like morning routine activities that we do. And we count for silently for 1 minute our heart rate, and that's our resting heart rate. We write that down. And then I kind of change this up depending on the vibes that I'm getting in the first couple minutes of my class, whether we do some exercise or mindfulness right after our resting heart rate. So because I'm in a detention center, my students don't get a lot of activity. Um, so this is always a good buy-in for them, is saying, okay, we can leave the classroom and go to the courtyard or go to the gym and do these exercises. Um, I especially like to do that when I'm sensing like low energy. So I'll take them out. They can suggest exercises. We do like 3 to 4 different exercises. They'll write it down in the box what they did. We check our pulse again. They will all notice that their heart rate has increased. We'll do an activity in class, and then I'll come back and we'll do the mindfulness technique together. Again, they'll write down like what's the mindfulness technique we're doing for the week. And then in the box, they can just jot down like, do they feel any differently after the mindfulness activity than they did before when they checked their resting heart rate or when they exercised? And then the next page is we take time to actually graph out our heart rates, and we see what the patterns were over the week. So we can look at, wow, my heart rate was lower than my resting heart rate 4 out of the 5 days, and pieces like that. So it's been really cool. They've been much more willing and interested in doing this mindfulness piece now that I've included it kind of with the heart rate. And they can actually see like why this is happening. Um, so it may not be, maybe it's grounded in some other projects specifically with some of the things we learned in class, but I had just been inspired from the session to implement this into my classroom. It's been really successful, so I wanted to share it. I did also teach off of the video about like the amygdala and fear and stress sensors in our brains versus the prefrontal cortex. So we do have students now using that language in the class. So it's been a really cool thing that I was able to implement, and now they are not complaining every time I ask them to do mindfulness. So that's my project.
Genius.
Yeah.
Genius.
So yeah, I'm surprised that Tammy would like this because she's so anti-STEM, you know. Um,
It's amazing.
The
It's so
sarcasm.
hard for me not to be talking of anyway, it's fabulous.
It's really good. I like that. It kind of reminds me of, you know how you can kind of keep track of how many questions you get asked a day or how many interruptions, and you can kind of like click it and track it. I I feel like I almost want to take this and spin it, like, because my kids are too young to do heart rate, but like spin it to, are we being mindful of how often we're interrupting or something like that, and have them
mhm.
like graph it or try. It's good.
Thank
Really
you.
well done.
Yeah, and it takes like maybe 15 minutes out of my day. So it's really awesome.
Awesome. And I love that. Yeah, as Elizabeth wrote, I love the physical education tie-in. Like it's great because you're covering all of these bases. So
Yeah,
Nice.
physical education, mental, science, math concepts, um, social emotional learning. So yeah, wow,
Thank
really
you.
incredible integration.
Very good. All right. Kudos. Anybody else want to give it a go?
I'd jump in here. Um,
All right.
when I was approaching this lesson, I wanted to do something. I really work with the kids to have that auditory, visual, kinesthetic type learning. And so I was trying to figure out, I really had a goal of turning it into a game so that the kids could have a game to play with it. And so I'm going to go old school with sharing my screen here because my son has my computer. So sorry about that. But my goal was to have a visual. So to have a discussion with a visual that walks the kids. I don't know if you can see that. I wasn't able to get it online, so my apologies.
This
But to
is
walk the
great.
kids through the steps to resiliency. And so it starts with the intercept with the meta thinking, self commander activation, and maintain activation. So to start there and to have a discussion and go through each of those steps um, so that the kids could internalize really what they meant and to do some examples of it and some non examples and talking to the kids. As we're yelling and crying, showing ourselves to be a self commander, okay, would breathing in and out with our eyes closed help us to be a self commander. And then I would turn it into a game of four corners. And if you've never played four corners, it's very fun. You write one of your terminology in each corner of the room. You play a song, could be Mozart, Beethoven, whatever you want. And the kids walk around. And when they get to that corner, you draw a little stick that you have 1, 2, 3, or 4 written on. And then those kids sit down, but you start using that terminology. Oh, you were in the self commander spot. You guys will sit down. Then you keep going until you have a winner. And you can do it as many times. And pretty soon, those kids, they really get those vocabulary words and those terms down, and they start to be able to use it and speak it themselves. So I thought it was kind of a fun thing to have a game involved in this activity. So that was my lesson plan.
Very
Bloody
good.
awesome. Bloody awesome. And Mitch, I know you know this. Let's talk about games.
Well, what do you know about games? I mean, you've only been asked to speak at the White House about games, right?
That's
All
true.
over the
That's
world.
true. Well
Wow.
done.
Thank
So
you.
Tammy is doing a study in game-based learning.
Okay.
Super awesome. So well done. I really like the graphic on yours too.
Thank you.
Wow, these are great. You guys just keep coming up with really good stuff. Who would like to follow?
I can go next.
All right.
Great.
Thank you, Nicole.
So my camera is off. It's 8 o'clock here in New York, so I'm in my PJs.
As you should be.
So sorry.
We listen and we do not judge.
Yes. Let me share my screen. Okay. So, okay. I teach fifth grade. Our main goal is preparing them for middle school and stuff like that. So a lot of our lessons are geared a little bit towards the middle school. So I did overcoming negative internal chatter. It's a big thing, especially preparing them for middle school when, all those hormones and, new friends and stuff like that, new scenes. So I did a lesson plan of identifying the self-talk, list materials. There's a warm-up, where we just talk about, is there that voice in your head that says, I can't do this, you're not good enough, and introduce the concept of negative self-talk. Teach and model, identify that thought. What is the feeling? What can we do about it? And how that affects us in life. And then practicing flipping the thought. So identify the thought and what's a positive way that we can reframe it. So I'm terrible at sports. A positive reframe would be I'm still learning and practice helps me get better. We'd invite group sharing. And then I did a role-playing activity. The kids love to break into partners or small groups. So I made up some scenario cards. And on the scenario, is a negative thought, and then they have to practice the positive reframe of it. There's student directions too with examples. And then, after each question, they ask yourself, what might your negative self-talk say? How can you flip it? How might your feelings or actions change when you use the new thought? And then there's some scenario cards, like you studied hard, or you raised your hand and got the wrong answer. And there's just a bunch of different scenarios that they can practice with real life scenarios, how to flip that into something positive and reframe their mindset. And then a reflection activity could be creating, like a mirror or the affirmations, just something that they can look back on.
Can you just go back
That's
to
what.
that mirror? You
Oop.
said creating a mirror. What? I missed that a little bit.
Sorry.
Sorry, my fault.
It's okay. They can look in a mirror or, imagine speaking kindly to themselves. So something that I did in my classroom was we have like a little mirror, and then around it are like positive affirmations. So every day if they need a little pick me up, when they look in the mirror, they see something positive about themselves.
That's ingenious.
So you can even spin that too. And you can have them then say something kind to somebody else and practice, not just like building themselves up, but building other people up. That's fantastic.
And I don't know if you see the chat, but Lisa brought up, you could actually this could be true for all of them that are presented so far, is you could put them up on Teachers Pay Teachers, and I think people would buy them.
Yeah, I'd buy them. Well done, guys.
Yeah, the role playing, the scenarios were so cute. I can just imagine the kids getting into that, and not even realizing that they're learning something because they're having fun, and then the self-practice in the mirror, relating these situations to both school and life of the kids, um, and getting them to practice the things that they're going to need that will be very, very helpful to them when they're in middle school.
Yeah. Well done. Thank you for sharing.
And might even be helpful to them when they're adults, right?
Yes. So I got a message from Miss Carrie Pasquale. She just needs us to share her thing, but she would love to share next.
Okay. So
Yeah. For mine, there's a PowerPoint, and then there's a supporting document that if those could be shared, that would be great.
okay,
Yeah.
so I have to find you here.
She's at the number 24.
I dropped
24.
it in today, this
Thank
morning.
you.
Thanks. I can, while you get there, I'll just start.
So do you want me to do the PowerPoint first?
That'd be great. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, and there we go.
Awesome. So I adapted this. I had done a similar thing before for fourth and fifth graders in a puberty lesson. But for this one, I'm using sixth grade as a goal, just mostly because the video I share, I think, is a little young. But it could probably go up through high school with a different video clip. So I'd like to prep by laminating some wellness strategies, and then it'll operate like a jigsaw. So students will become an expert in one wellness strategy, and then they share that with a group later on. So the slides just walk through that. If you could skip to the next slide, it's the actual student intro slide, what you'd have up, the learning targets, and then just starting a discussion on the next slide about potential causes of stress. Again, this was originally when I taught it a part of a puberty unit. So now we're looking at the mental emotional side, but I think it can be used as a standalone as well. So this clip, it just gives a nice intro. It's a short clip by BBC, just kind of about stress and our body's reaction and what's going on there. The next slide is when we're just introducing this idea that we can use strategies to shift our thinking. And that's introducing what we do next. And trying to then in the next slide set them up thinking about emotions are temporary visitors, right? So what we're trying to do is figure out how do we shift these if they're not useful or helpful to us. And that's kind of the start for these strategies. So the next thing I would have students do is sit at a table group and I'd give them the laminated description of one of these things, which is in a different document, but it's really not, I think, important for this time to share that. Students would have the worksheet that maybe Mitch, you could show that because it might make more sense if it can be shared.
So this, right?
There's one other one. That one's the things I would put on the table and I would laminate and I would say, this is the one you're a professional at. Sorry, there should be one more on
This
mine.
one, right?
Yeah, that's right. So this was like a worksheet designed just for students to take notes on what they learned. So I found when I did this before, students' hardest thing was summarizing. When I gave them a description of a strategy, they want to just copy it down directly. So really working with them to like just try to get the main points. I'm not looking for the whole thing. So they can put some main points on whichever their table group is assigned of those. From there, I would then, jigsaw this, which by that I mean everyone that had the table group that was doing a body scan. Then we break them up, we place them with students who did the other strategies, right? So that it takes time to first become an expert at their strategy and then share that with another group. But by the end of it, the hope is that they have a list of strategies and kind of a summary of what they are on this worksheet. I think on the last few slides, it's just kind of closing up of the lesson. I don't know what I have next. Yeah, so record your strategy, like I was saying, trying to do a summary. And then that's just an overview of what was covered. So one group would have had each of those. And I put a closing, just a knowledge check, like I can identify the factors that lead to increased stress during adolescence, and I can identify at least 4 strategies. They should have taken notes on like 6 strategies if they do this correctly and have enough time. And I just love that graphic at the end of, oh, you've changed, and I'd hope so. So that's what I got.
Actually liked a lot of your graphics. There's a few people that commented on it too about your temporary visitor. I'm going to start using that as well. I like, thinking of it emotionally, like emotions that way. That's great.
Yeah. Thank you.
And you had other people who really liked your template as well. So well done.
Yeah, and I think what you're doing is, people feel when, in these emotions that that's the truth, that they're stuck with them. And what you're doing is you're giving them power, and you're giving them many ways to get power, so they know that they're not stuck with just one way. They can say, oh, something, I'm feeling this. I've been getting, which of those 5 strategies do I want to use this time?
Yeah, thank you. And I tried to make them strategies, and I try to tell students, hopefully they can use them in class, right? I tried not to do strategies that require you to be like alone in a dark room or something like that, So hopefully they're useful to students.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for making it.
Yeah.
Awesome job. We can just kind of keep this ball rolling if anybody else would like to share.
I can go.
Good.
Hi everyone. I think I kind of missed a little bit of the mark here on what I was supposed to do, so I apologize. Oh, let me put my camera on. I'm sorry.
There is no mark. It's whatever
Okay.
you create and you will use or show. It will be perfect. We will enjoy it.
Okay. So I kind of, let me see if let me know if I'm sharing. I don't know. Am I sharing?
Currently, yep. No, you
Okay.
are.
I don't know how to move this. Sorry, just bear with me.
Oh, you're fine.
Why can't I move this? Oh, there it is. Okay, so I was kind of, yeah, sorry about that. I didn't realize I was supposed to make like a really pretty slide presentation, and
No,
I apologize.
this is wonderful. This is absolutely wonderful.
This was basically what I got from MindShifting. Was I was trying to kind of take the idea of not really kind of you changing the way I talk and say like, oh, I have to do this, I need to do this, and kind of shift it to more I get to, right? So like I have three children, I'm constantly running around. This one's got practice, this one's, and it's like just take a deep breath and say, I get to go pick my son up from practice. And I get to like, I don't know. I know it sounds so silly, but I felt like just shifting it into a more positive mindset of I get to do this versus I have to do this really helps me kind of be a little bit more positive about whatever task I need to accomplish. So I was hoping to kind of incorporate that with our students with you have to get this worksheet done. It's kind of more like a you get to do this worksheet and then you can have a break or just more positive talk is what I was kind of what I really gained from this class is like just trying to like be more positive and thank you. Um and that was really it, a reflection at the end of the day. Talk, think to yourself of what was meaningful about the day, what you got to do instead of what you had to do or need to do. Um, and then that was pretty much it. I'm sorry.
This is amazing. Honestly, I don't know. So the first thing is I get to sit here and see all these amazing things, and now I get to learn all of these new techniques or get to use them. So I really appreciate it because I sometimes get really hard on myself too. So sometimes just convincing yourself that what you're doing is like we get an opportunity to do it and
Mhm.
forget to do it. So amazing. And I'm reading through um these tasks that you wrote and they're genius. I
Right.
think it's really a great way to get like kids, teens just to
Anybody,
start thinking
anybody.
about those positive things. I kind of want to steal this and use it at one of our staff meetings and just have everyone sit there and kind of get involved in it and get excited about it. So
I can
this is
email it
really
to
good.
you. I don't think I emailed it, so I can forward that to you. No problem.
Yeah, if you could forward it to one of us, then we can put it on the spreadsheet, and then everybody else can actually get it also.
Great,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, Lauren. Yeah. Um, it's like
No,
so
thank you.
step by. It's like just do this for 5 minutes, or 10 minutes or whatever, and you got it. So um, so to me, it's like people say, well, this is simple or whatever, but to me, elegant. You know, things are simplistic and then they become really complicated and complex. And then when you get put them together and it really works, it becomes elegant. So yeah, this is simple because it's elegant. So I think
Thank
I
you.
think it's great.
Thanks.
And it's super easily to be used, like really nicely done.
Thank you.
Um,
Can I?
Erica, would you like to go next? Oh, sorry. I thought you spoke. I wasn't sure. I don't want to overstep anybody.
I'll go next if no one else is
Yeah.
right. Um,
Sure.
could someone share my slides? I'm on my cell phone and I didn't want to have to log back into the session.
Right.
Okay,
So
sure.
yeah, let me.
Thank you, Mitch.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So I focused on changing your mindset from your saboteur to your sage brain. My thinking is we have a like learning resource center where there's students on IEPs with smaller groups. And so this is kind of what I'm focusing my learning on with. Can we go to the next slide, please? I don't know if you can. And so I just wanted to kind of give them an overview of, there's two parts of your brain that we're using and just understanding that how we can shift those negative thoughts into more positive, resourceful ones. And then I would go into like the next one is like, what is a mindset? And talking about like that growth mindset. I work in a middle school and we get lots of different emotions throughout the day, sometimes even within one class period. They go through a slew of emotions. And so really helping students kind of understand that, that that thinking in their mind, like, oh, I'm not good at math. Like I used to think that when I was a kid too, or I wasn't a strong reader. And I often will share with students that, I struggled with reading as a kiddo. And back then they always did the red robin or the round robin reading. And I would count and see which one was my paragraph and try to practice ahead of time. And majority of the time I didn't know a lot of the words, and I would excuse myself to go to the bathroom. But I was a good student. I was always quiet. So I kind of just slipped through the cracks a little bit. And so I often will share that with students so that they realize, like, hey, I can relate to how you feel, but just know that you don't have to live there. Like, we can get better together. And then I go into about the two sides of the brains, and that, the saboteur focuses on like the negative, like what's the problem? And your sage brain is focusing on kind of like that growth mindset, the solutions, the possibilities. And then, so my next slide is just kind of talking about your saboteur. Like, what does he say? It says things like, I can't do this, or they're better than me, or what if I make mistakes, mess up? And so we would have like an activity about, what are some things that your saboteur says, so that students can really identify, kind of that negative talk within themselves that they might already do. And then we talk about the, meet the sage, and talking about how we can reframe that. This is hard, but I can figure it out. And just, mistakes, we can learn from our mistakes so we know what to fix later. Um, and then kind of spotting your saboteur in action, giving them kind of like a little practice on how looking for clues of when their saboteur is starting to take over, so that we can then activate our sage brain. So going into the next slide, and just giving them some strategies on like pausing, taking some breaths, noticing when that saboteur is, rearing its ugly head, and switching up to your sage brain instead. And then how can you do that also through your actions? Then I have a couple of like reset tools, kind of some, mindful strategies. We actually have something that's similar to this already, because we have buddy room classrooms where kids who are having a difficult time within maybe their homeroom or content area can go to a buddy's room to reset, and then go back and join the learning. And some of these strategies are on a flip card that they can use, as just some calming strategies, and that we use that building wide. So I used a couple strategies from there of something that we're already currently using. And then the practice time, the flip it. This was actually took longer than I thought it was going to take, just because kids wanted to make their own. So I had like these little strips of paper, and, that had some saboteur thoughts on there. And then they had to either match what a sage brain would say or create their own. And so they had a great time doing that. And some of them are pretty creative. But I thought that was a fun activity. And that could be even just like a mini lesson in itself. And then we want to talk about why it matters, the importance of having a sage brain to, help us feel calmer, problem solve, and that really grow resiliency and being confident. And then a reflection, thinking about, when their saboteur brain shows up, what did they think, or how they can respond next time. So that's kind of in a nutshell what I have.
Really good. I like the activity where they create their own little saboteurs. That's fun.
That's got to be fun. And and they're learning while they're doing it. So,
Mm-hmm.
and just one of the things that you brought up, and we never really brought this up in the course, but saying a kind thing to yourself, it's
Mm-hmm.
like that's so powerful. That's a great addition.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's very logical progression too, right through the slides.
Thank you.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
All right. Wait, anybody else want to go next?
I can go next.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Samantha.
Hold on. I've never shared on Zoom before.
With you. I feel like I'm new to all of this.
I don't know. Okay.
So
Is it
if you just
working?
go down to the hold on, well, might be.
Okay.
I don't
I'm
see
doing it on a Mac, and it's like,
Okay. Would you like us to share it for you?
yeah, if you don't mind. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. I have it up, so
Okay,
Thanks.
I
cool.
think I have it up.
Dursley.
Right? This is it?
Yeah. Okay. So I just did like a mind shift toolbox
Just
to
double
use for the
like
class.
done, so you can put them away.
Um, and it just I took like some keywords like pause, reset, choose, and try.
Hmm.
You can go to the next. So basically like what's the story in my head? Sometimes I tell myself a story. I can't do that or they don't like me. And then just like a visual of like just being frustrated. And the next one is to try and tell yourself a different story. So I can try again. I'm learning. Um, they are also having a hard time to do it. And then some reset tools. So, tools to help us like calm our minds would be to like close your eyes, take slow, deep breaths, count to 5, whisper, I can do this. Um, I teach kindergarten, so we do a lot of smell the flower, blow out the candle, just to have like a visual. And then the sage, the power of the day. So today I choose, and then a blank statement. And then just to use empathy, explore and innovate. So like when I feel upset, I will ask, how would my sage of power help me now? And then my reminder is to pause, reset, choose, and try. And then just visuals. I teach special ed, so I try to do visuals for everything.
I don't know why, but when you had that thing pop up with today I choose, and I was just thinking about my one student who like chose violence. Like, I wonder if that could be a
Mm.
And then
nice.
here's just like 2 charts for calm down tools, counting to 5, stretching and wiggling. And then just like another like chart of how to do things, like just ways to calm down.
Did you make these?
I just Googled on well, not Google, I searched on Canva calm down tools, and this is what popped up.
I like these a lot. I could print
Yeah, I
these out.
like them too.
So
I'm gonna add them to my calm down corner.
nicely done.
And then there's just one more page. These are all hyperlinked. I use this in my
Oh,
mindful mornings every morning. So I pick a kid and they will come up and click on a video, and each video is just like each picture is a different video. So like the rainbow is rainbow breathing. The bubbles are like you have to follow a certain bubble and like watch and breathe. You can tell like when they're like really agitated and you put one of these videos on, it really like calms their mind and really helps them reset.
so just get,
Nicely done. I
yeah.
like those.
Thank you.
So I think what you shared in the link is the presentation, which is incredible. If there's a way you could also share the Canva file, that would be great because then other people could use it and just kind of like this, these 2 posters, they could pull them off, or these 4 images, or any of these visuals. So that would be great if there's a way that you could share the whole Canva. But this was, I love that you've like the 4 words, pause, reset, choose, try, and the toolbox uh, of all these different tools is also incredible with the links to the different deep breathing toolbox. So one thing after another, and great graphics.
Thank you.
Really well done. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, a lot of good comments also from.
All right. Well, we are about halfway through our time, which is plenty of time for a few more shares, however many we can get through. Would anybody else like to give it a
I can
go?
I can share.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Perfect. Yes. So I think, yeah. So why don't we have Roxanne go first and then the next one?
Okay.
All right. Do you need help sharing?
Let me see if yes, please. Sorry,
Okay, I think I think I have it. So let me do the.
Thanks, Mitch.
Sure, and
All right,
great. I
thank
love
you.
these visuals, just seeing them here.
All right, so I made some slides that you could print out on Canva in case you need visuals, or if you have like a calming corner or mindfulness corner. It's w through kindergarten through second. I feel like they're still learning how they're feeling, and so I feel like a visual that they could maybe point to or maybe put a clip on how they're feeling. And in the beginning of the year, we always have recess drama and and other things that are happening. So I like to start my year talking about feelings. Can you please go to the next slide? And so one of the things we start with is usually a pretest, and we have tiers. And I thought it would, before I do that, what we could do is talk about changing their mindset from going calm to even like a strong, calm to strong or calm to stronger when they're not feeling happy. And so there's some visuals of other kids like crying or mad. They could stop and take a deep breath, breathe in slowly through your nose, breathe out slowly through your mouth. And these are things that maybe I could put up on my projector and then just demonstrate for them. And if you could go to the next slide. And then this one would be, so you could print this out, maybe put it on their desk or in the corner and show them how to use the trace and breathe. So breathe in, it's almost like the finger breathing, to stop and kind of calm their breathing, and then repeat as needed, because I feel like some kiddos may need 4 times on that
Mhm.
breathe in, breathe out. And the next slide. Um, I feel like when they're closing their eyes and they can feel that they're actually breathing and slowing it down. Um, so this is just kind of like a visual that I would use, and I would demonstrate again how to slow their breathing. And then the next slide. And I would teach this as like another strategy that could calm your brain. And I feel like when kids come in and you have kind of some of the kiddos that are so upset, and you try to, I guess, get their mind off or change it. Um, and this would be like a good demonstration of, all right, close your eyes. Think of your favorite lollipop. What do you see? And they're more focused on, okay, their mindset is changing to more of a positive. Their get distraction is going now to the lollipop because all the kids love candy. And what color is it? And they're thinking about the color. Is it big? Is it small? Now pretend you're tasting a lollipop. What is the flavor? And then what can you smell? Take a deep breath. Can you smell anything sweet or fruity? How do you feel? Is the lollipop smooth? Is it sticky? Now, by this point, I'm hoping that they're changing, maybe whatever was upsetting them is now where I could get them to breathe at this point and be more positive. And then these are just like strategies that you can either, show in the classroom, or you can print out for them depending on the age group. And then if you go to the next, so at that point, I would probably go back to the first slide and ask them, how are they feeling now? Has it changed? Just so they can be aware of, has their feelings changed? Is it more positive? Do they need to go through some of those other slides and redo some of those steps? And then this is just a good visual, like breathing or sorry, can you go
Oh,
up one?
sorry.
Breathing helps your calm grow strong. It helps you think better and more feel peaceful. And they're hopefully looking at this visual like, oh, it looks, you're calm when you're sleeping, and they're feeling better at this point. And then the last one, I had to put it like a cute little cappy there. And I put, you did it, your calm is strong. Um, so it's just kind of some fun younger you can print them out, visuals, or use them as a lesson, and you can integrate like certain books into this. So that's it.
Yeah, the idea of doing this before they're getting upset, like before they go to the playground, and so they're used to these techniques, and then you're teaching, and then, when they come back and they're upset, but you can then bring them back to the techniques, and then, yes, I interrupted somebody. I didn't mean to. Sorry. Jane, was it you who were?
Oh, I don't, I was just gonna say again, I love the visuals, especially the
Yeah.
capybara. Makes me very happy.
And that, to me, like that visualization that with the lollipop. I mean, so the brain can't be upset and also be thinking of something else. So while you're getting, so that just gets that can't help if they're doing this. Um, their brains can't help but calm themselves down. I thought, this is ingenious. So, great visuals, great progression, really interesting concepts. Um, just one after another. Again, I would expect that any of you could go and put your lesson plans on teachers pay teachers, and 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 sell them,
Make that money.
right? If you wanted to. Um,
And there was somebody who called going next. I can't remember who it was. Well, then I guess it's opened up. Does anybody want to go next?
I'll go.
Thank you,
yeah.
Elizabeth.
Let me see if I can share. Hold on. Oh, I might not be able to share. I'm on a very old iPad.
Okay.
Let's see. Share camera, share
Got
drive.
you.
Yep. Can you get me? Yes. Okay, so I envisioned this as the way a school counselor does a mini lesson and travels from class to class to just to kind of to plant a seed, and then you can go from there. So could you oh no, I've got it. All right. So we begin with just talking about a time when you were really happy. This is also geared for pre-K or kindergarten or first grade, the really little ones. Think about a time when you were happy and talk about that. And then think about a time when you were sad or mad. You don't have to share if you don't want to, but the teacher can give examples. And then think about memory, your favorite memory, and you can share that if you want to. And then remember a time when you were so hungry, so starving, you could eat a horse. So then we put up the graphic and talk about the limbic system. I know this might be a little high for the real small ones, but to talk about your appetite and your sleep and your memory and your fear response. And then I love talking about caveman brain or caveman anything. Like, what would we have done when we were cavemen and women? What are the reasons that we do things today that our cave dwelling people would have done before us. So this is where can you go up just a little bit to the second page?
Oops. Oh, like here?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So a little, not that far down. Great. Okay, so talk about this part of our brain is great if a lion were chasing us, or if there was a thunderstorm and we needed to seek shelter fast. But now sometimes it gets overused. Sometimes we're ready for a big emergency when it's really not a big emergency. And we talk about this a lot in our school. Is this a big emergency or is this a tiny little problem? So it's hard when we're feeling stressed or angry or anxious. And we need to remember that we can tell our limbic system to calm down. So I always say that there's a song for that. Anything. There's a song for math. There's a song for saying good morning. There is a song for learning how to spell your sight words. There is a song for this. So this is to the tune of If You're Happy and You Know It. Could you put the whole thing up, because I haven't memorized it quite yet? Here's my song. Okay. When I feel a big emotion, I slow down. Take a breath just like the ocean, nice and round. My sage brain is smart and it helps me choose my part. And I say perhaps I can and not I can't with a frown. When I'm scared or feeling yucky, I could cry. Try to say perhaps I can and give it a try. Take a deep breath in and let a smile begin. My brain and heart are strong, oh my, oh my. Yay.
Wonderful.
That's all.
Yeah, I love that. That made me so happy. Well done.
Yeah.
And did you write that song?
Yes.
Nice. That was really good.
Thank you.
Kudos. Well done.
Wow.
Now it's stuck in my head. Honestly, I'm
Yeah.
trying to think about what I was going to say next, and I'm just da, 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 da. Great job. Anybody volunteer to go next?
I'll go.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Yeah,
Thank
I'll
you,
try.
Lisa.
Oops, wait. I goofed. I didn't share my screen. Let's see. Oh, that's not it. Okay, try again. Sorry. I haven't had to do that in like 5 years. Maybe I'm going to need help.
Yeah, just let us know if you want us to share it for you.
Yes, would you slide it? Sure. Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
See,
That's
now
what we're
my
here
limbic
for.
brain is starting to work.
And we need
Did
to give Mitch a job.
I must have,
so-
yeah, and I probably did the wrong one.
Lisa.
Okay, so sorry.
And it's like huge.
So it's
There's a lot of.
Oh, no wonder why, because yes, I did do the wrong one. Okay, so now let me share.
Well,
Oh, wait a minute.
I tried to
It
stick in
couldn't.
a whole bunch of stuff all at the
So
same
it's
time.
so it's not. Let me see if this file is too large. So
Strip them down. Okay.
So let me see how I can do this.
The old-fashioned way.
Right, that's another way of doing it.
We can do it that way. Yeah, because I don't. It just seemed like I needed to add more information and more information. So, I'll just do this kind of chatting, and I'll see if I can get it to work later.
Okay, and I'm downloading it anyhow.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to take up too
I'll
much
have
time.
it.
Okay.
Oops. Okay, it's coming up in PowerPoint. So
in 400%.
Okay, so now I can share. Okay, can people see that? Okay. Okay.
So I started to do a lesson plan, and then there was all of these other things I felt like I should um, have to include besides. So this is more kind of ideas for understanding feelings, the brain, and self-regulation. Okay, let's go to the next one. That's me. And, this is just some information about what I do as a school counselor. Let's go to the next one because you can read that at another time. And these are learning targets that I work on regularly, whether it's in a small group, whether I've pushed into a classroom, or whether I'm working with an individual on how to understand feelings. I'm often called the feelings teacher at my school. And I want students to be able to identify part of the parts of the brain so that they can understand where these feelings come from. And so I use the hand model frequently with my students, probably starting in second grade, but I also talk about the brain with kids in kindergarten. Next one. So these are some of the ways that I start every one of my lessons and when kids are dysregulated. And so I have a breathing ball, and kids get a chance to use that. So that helps them as they pull the ball out, they breathe in, and students are able to have a visual to help them. But I also want them to know that they can do breathing at their desk or outside or in the car. And so that's why I like the 5-finger breathing. I also use a part where I have them put their hands together. And some of my kids call this starfish breathing. I like it, the spider doing push-ups, and we breathe in and they can use their own hands. This is a fabulous little book called Waves of Emotion, a mindfulness story. And on this page, it says, take a deep breath and try to make your exhalation, that's a hard word to say, very long. Try it now. Breathe in your and bring your shoulders up towards your ears. Then let your shoulders fall away. And so this is something that I have done in small groups and with individuals. And they have beautiful pictures of cats in the ocean, and my kids like them. Okay, next. Oh, and here's a couple of stories that I just did part of them so that you can check out how I kind of do a lesson. Pig's Big Feelings. This gives kids a chance to have more than happy, sad, angry, scared, that they can be exhilarated. And it's kind of fun, and it's a good way to engage and talk more about feelings, because I really want kids to understand their feelings before we get to the brain. And then Pete the Cat and His Magic Sunglasses is a great story to for kindergarten and first grade that I use. Pete the Cat puts on these magic sunglasses because he's having a bad day. And then they help kids see things in a whole new way. And when you wear these, you see the birds, you hear the birds are singing, the sun is bright, everything's great, and I'm feeling all right, something like that. Anyways, but and I wear my magic sunglasses when I do this too. But it's a way to and when you'll hear in this, if you watch, it shows how the wise old owl at the end says you don't need sunglasses. But it's a way to incorporate the wise owl with our thinking brain. And so that's what I like about using that story. Okay, next slide. Here's some of the text and curriculum that I love to use with students. And the brain is kind of a big deal is a good one. And if you can, check out Crocodile in the Cockpit. It's kind of for older kids about the brain, and it talks about the lizard brain, and it's really good. And then there's some fun things like Grumpy Monkey, because all of his friends are trying to show him ways that he can get over his grumpiness. And then while I'm reading it to kids, they come up with ways that make them happy or make them feel more self-regulated. So those are just the reasons I like those texts. And the responsive counselor does a really great job on Teachers Pay Teachers and of showing different ways to talk about the brain and calm down. Okay, next slide. this is the flipped brain model that I use regularly. It's by Dr. Daniel Siegel. And it's a way that kids can easily understand how the brain is, and they have it right there with them. So we talk about how when we put our thumb in, that's the limbic brain. And there's the amygdala. And I can only remember amygdala because I have to put it with emotions because they both start with vowels. So that's how I remembered that one. And it helps my kids remember too. So I always think of those kind of tips should be shared. And so it's a really fun way. And the whole idea of that sometimes our brains, before they're flipped all the way, can start to open. And what can we do before we're flipped? And are there activities we can do? We can take a deep breath. We can get a hug from a friend. We can let someone know that we're upset. We can, you use words to express how we're feeling and take a break, maybe even in the calm corner. And so I really like to use this. And I don't use the amygdala with maybe my second graders, but my lizard brain and my owl brain, but they can understand the hand and how it opens up. Okay, next slide, because I'm taking a long time.
Oh, I thought this is it, actually, I think.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Yes.
And there's also
But you fooled me. You really got me going. I didn't know what to do.
okay, I thought there was one more. I meant to add one more. But Go Zen is another really great source that has things for how to, well, when you're angry, and then, well, how was I feeling? How did it feel in my body? So those are some resources that I use as a school counselor and principal today with the kids who are having big feelings or unexpected behavior or just need to learn.
It's a great group of resources.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is.
That was easier for me than putting a lesson plan together. Even though I do lesson plans, I'm a school counselor, so it's so different.
Resources are so useful though, whether it's in a lesson plan or a quick 5 minutes or in your job where like you kind of just need to have access to it to pull it. Great job. And there's comments on the side about people who would love to use it too. So you're just fantastic.
And I'll say, so I looked up the breathing ball and they're like between $5 and $12. So they're not really that expensive either. Right?
True. Great job, guys. These are fantastic. You guys are doing great. I've been asked to share Natalie Herman's presentation for her. She can't speak right now because she's got her phone and it's just not working fantastically.
So I think I have it.
Perfect. If you share, I can speak for her. She kind of gave me the rundown.
Like,
so I did not create this. This is not me. Natalie made a resource for students to learn how to be their own self-commander, like a superhero, get their superpowers on. You have the power to pause, reframe, and coach your mind. And then if you go to the next one. So she goes in to give a lesson on what is a self-commander, and then turn and talk, have students talk to each other about what a self-commander is to really build those foundational skills. And then the next one. And then why do we need a self-commander? Sometimes we get frustrated, blurt out, or feel left out. Your self-commander helps you. I believe she has a link to several resources too. So you that might not be it. It might be on a different one. But you can pause before reacting, reframe negative thoughts, coach yourself and try again. And then she would plan on practicing this with her students. The next one, the power of pause. So these are your 3 superpowers. So the first one is the power to pause. Take a minute to take a deep breath and kind of find out where your headspace is at before we react. So then have them go through and practice these things. And then like we would do our mindfulness strategies right before class. She kind of takes the students through that and then turn and talk and discuss with each other about how they're feeling, just like what we did with seeing, well, how are we feeling now after we've breathed for a few minutes or relaxed or however you go through it. And then the next one. The second superpower is to reframe. So reframe, I lost the game. Just like one of our other resources that came out. Math is too hard, but I can try one step at a time, or how to turn a negative thought into a positive interaction, just like with the I get to. Sorry, I'm linking two different people's things, but they're so good. Okay, and then the next slide. Coach means using your mind words to guide yourself. So when we have the power to coach, it's okay, I can keep trying. And then they have them turn and coach their partners. So what is something that you could say to your partner to get them to feel motivated and secure in what they're doing? Right? Dogman is fantastic. We love Dogman. I know my son's obsessed with it. He like the cartoon is on all the time in my house. And then using all three powers, she gives a scenario. A friend gets picked first and you don't. How can we pause? How can we reframe it? I'll get a turn next time. And then the coach, I can still have fun cheering your friend. And she can even pass out little scenarios to each group of students and have them work through the three powers, their superpowers, to get through those, to become super problem solvers. And then the reflection. Today I use my self commander when and next time I'll remember to. So if this was me, today I use my self commander when I convinced myself that I needed to wake up out of bed. And next time I'll remember to set like 3 alarms. And your superpowers are always with you. You are the boss of your brain. Keep it using pause, reframe, and coach every day. So that's her presentation. And this is something that she has used with her kiddos in her second grade classroom. And I have to say, I walked in on her using some of these things, and it's really fun to see just how kids really take charge of their interactions and stuff with it. So well done, Natalie. I know that she's in and out with her phone, but
Yeah, when you see kids and they learn that they do have those powers, it's so cool, right? It's you see them turn themselves around, or they help other kids turn themselves around, and this gives a really step-by-step way for kids to do that, and the graphics are so kid friendly. I love the graphics.
yeah. No, I think that's one of the coolest things that I'm seeing repeated over and over again. Are these are just presentations that you can just take and throw in there and use. Like they're really child friendly, school friendly, classroom friendly. Like well done, guys. So great job. Okay, we have about 20 minutes left, and we can always let people slide a little early. Are there a few more people that would like to share their presentation today?
You can share mine if you'd like.
Okay.
Thank you, Laura.
Mine's a bit different if you wouldn't mind sharing it. Just, I warn everyone, it's a video and it's kind of got some interesting music choices. So if you have a small child sleeping nearby, you might want to lower the volume. And this is just sort of like a way for, I kind of just playing with this program that I'm going to be actually using with my class. And we've been doing some practice with, mindfulness and breathing techniques and visualization. And like they just took a test today and I was like, you're close your eyes, you're going to do great on this test. And then kind of like walk them through all the positive sort of affirmation. I still do the cookie jar thing with them, but I think by the time I show them this, it'll be kind of a model for just sort of a summary of the highlights for this class. I had some fun with making it. And then hopefully they would find use in it, and they're going to be using this program as well.
So I'll start the video then. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Wow. I think I'm going to use that for future classes, actually.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
It's
It's fun to
And the
put
noise
together.
isn't so bad. I kind of really liked the music in the beginning. I thought I kind of bouncing around to it. Did you made the video?
Yeah, it's a program called We Video. It's really cool. It's pretty user friendly. As all the
You just like
videos, and you can put the text in. You could put, I downloaded some pictures to put in the pictures in the beginning just from the internet. And
that's really
yeah, you just slice it and it's fun.
and now I learned something new. I'm gonna
yeah.
get to work on it. Well done.
So I don't see D. Clark here, right? Um, but I thought so this was kind of cool. And since she wasn't here and she probably wouldn't present it. It's a, um, it's something I think that, you can use for kids to, after you've taught them. I thought this was so cool, just a word finder game. So that's on the spreadsheet also, is you just, we all know the word finder games is that once you've taught these terms, um, you use the word finder game to kind of get people to think about them a little bit more. So I thought that was I thought that was very, very clever also.
Really good.
And then
Well,
Erica, you unmuted at some point. Um, if you don't mind, because an awful lot of people here in the class have said, if we only had a cheat sheet, right? If we only
Hello.
had these terms, right? So Erica, are you here? Or I know you're
Yeah,
here.
I'm here. I've been trying to jump in and I can't get in.
Okay. Um,
But
So
If you want to share it, that's fine.
okay. I'll pull it up on the screen and then you can describe it.
Well, my situation is different. Um, is it up? Because
Yeah.
my computer is very slow and I can't see it.
Okay. I have
Have-
the
Um,
first half of the first page up.
okay. Oh, okay. There it is. Okay, great. Um, well, my situation is different. I'm actually a sub in three different districts. And so I float in and out really quickly, and I do everything from preschool all the way to high school and all the specialties in between. So for me to, by the way, all of your PowerPoint presentations are just amazing. And I'm like, oh no, what did I do? Mine's just so plain, but what I really focused on is something that I could use myself because I don't have time often to actually pull up a lesson plan like that and do it. But I'm working mostly more into building relationships very quickly. And so I found this class very helpful in a lot of the concepts that have been brought up that I could do. And so really what I wanted to have that would be most useful for me is a very quick cheat sheet type of thing that, or a quick reference that I can look at to refresh my memory of what's going on with the kids, especially the ones that are struggling. And I'm just jumping in and I don't know their backgrounds and I just see that there's a flare up in their emotions and stuff like this. So, or their saboteurs are happening and the negative thoughts are flowing. So, so basically this is what I did is I took the main concepts from this class that I got and I put it onto these papers here and um, I liked the part where his negative self-talk gives us. Oh, you just jumped. Can you
Sorry.
go?
Go back
Go.
to
Yeah.
reset. Yeah.
Yeah, to the top.
To the very top?
Yeah. I was just going to read. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
So in the dark black up there, I just said the negative self-talk gives us negative thought patterns. And I really know, and I see that a lot with all kids and adults too. And the positive self talk is rewriting your way of thinking. I really like that. And that we have the power to change our story. Mindset has everything to do with how we think and how and helps us to understand others' way of thinking so we can code our brains for happiness by changing the way we're thinking. And so that kind of a thing, I know I've tried it on myself and it works amazing. So if you could just scroll up to the next page there. Basically, it talks about, I just put the key points here of a reset, what you guys did, but the breathing exercises, there's so many things you can do. But the phrases here where it's perhaps I can, these are things that I thought was really, really cool. And it's a really good refresher like, yes, I can, I absolutely can, and I will. And I just listed them so that I can just pop them up. And then the steps and resourcefulness and resilience and the 5 key sage powers. And what was the last one? Oh, yeah. And the perspectives and the gifts and turning our thinking into what can I learn out of this? What can I practice? And what can I do to make the situation better? So this is just very simple, something that I can print off and keep it in my bag and pull it out when I need to pull out these terms. So that's it, I guess.
No, and I thought when I saw it is like this is really what everybody's been asking for. And so anybody, you all, because you have access to the spreadsheet, you could take this, you could print it out and just kind of keep it by your desk or in, around. So it's like, oh, geez, now what can I use here? And it's like, oh my gosh, I could use. Let me use it. Let me work with this child on Innovate, or oh yeah, let me talk to them. This is an opportunity to teach about the intercept or the self, or what was it called again? Oh yeah, it's a self commander. This was what it's a great reference.
Thank you.
I didn't unmute. Thank you for sharing, Erica. Um, great job. I'm these. I, it's always funny to me when people are like, "I didn't," it's not as pretty as everyone else's, but it's the information that's behind it and the effort that goes. I mean, it's all so useful and so good. So let's try. Like, great, amazing job. Okay, well, we have time for either one or two more. Um, Anybody want to take it on?
Mine's just kind of an overview. I was thinking more for like a staff meeting. Let me see if I can.
Oh,
Uh,
yes, I remember seeing this.
where's my share my screen? There it is. All right, and then share. Can y'all see it?
Yep.
Okay. So it's just kind of like just a really quick kind of my boss had asked me, what did you get from it? And I'm like, oh, well, I guess. And then this assignment came up and I was like, okay, maybe I could just do it and use it for both things. So it kind of goes into the introduction to mind shifting. I have a couple of pictures that show kind of like breaking through the wall of like our way of thinking. And then it kind of has like a little overview of how mind shifting changes patterns in our thinking and causes and like helps with the positive mindset, all of the stuff that we already learned. So I'm not really going to go into too much detail, but I would go into more detail if it was a staff meeting. um and then we talked about a lot. We introduced mindfulness at the beginning of each of our sessions, and so I wanted to talk about how being aware of our own feelings, being aware of ourself in the moment, and then also experiencing the feelings and not judging them specifically, like as good or bad, and just kind of like letting them happen. And then understanding our emotions. One of the things with our second graders that we use a lot is Little Spot. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Little Spot and the different emotions. And so, like, I like to
That's a
start our
great series
mornings.
of books.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like to start our mornings with the big chart up and I say, how do you feel? How are you feeling today? And they can pick like up to three. Or they can tell me they're feeling scribbly, and that's okay too. And then if anyone wants to share more, like they're excited about something, then they get to share more, or if they're sad about something, and then we they can share that too if they want to, or they can be private. Um, and so then it can also help with concentration in our class. We've done quite a few mindful resets. Especially after this class, I really love the mindfulness part that we've done at the beginning of our sessions. And I've even taken it and used it in the middle of class when it's just getting a little too loud and a little too rambunctious. And it's like, okay, let's like listen for our breathing. Let's take a moment and tell me, not don't tell me, but like notice what the tops of your ears are feeling like, and then so on and so forth until they finally kind of like chill out a little.
Mhm.
Then we talked about the lizard brain, the owl brain. I thought those were really cute. That's a snake, but it should have been a lizard. And then kind of how that worked. And I really liked our video that we had in one of our sessions. So I would probably suggest that to anyone who wanted to show it to any of the other kids. We have pre-K through sixth, but it's a really small little private school. So uh everybody takes a little bit out of from everybody else. Um, then this one is talking about personal narratives and like how this, I think one of the most powerful things in our sessions was thinking about like how does my story look in comparison to maybe what might be. And like kind of, I mean, that's the whole point of shifting the mindset, is being able to like think about um what other story might there be that needs to be told. And then also when we do shift our stories, it could cause some very powerful and positive changes in it. I think I shared that story about my family when my dad was passing away. and how I had to flip my script on that one. I thought this was a really cute picture because that person is stuck with a piece of gum. And that's kind of how sometimes I feel when I'm stuck in one of my scripts is like I'm trying to move, but I can't because I'm like stuck. And so this was another little way to talk about it. And then also like some ideas of how to like express ourselves so that we can kind of evaluate that script. Journaling, talking to friends and family. I really liked the beginning session when we talked about asking another person how the wow, and it's late. Um, perhaps you can, and just like that look on their face as they were like, oh, just having that as a having someone else as a sounding board. And then we did talk about our sage brain and how it helps with making better decisions versus um the those quick decisions that we make that are like instantaneous, that are the ones that usually lead to less than positive outcomes. Um, and then being aware that we have a sage brain. Some time, like I had not thought of it for a long time, but like in therapy and stuff, there's this idea that you have you have the ability to look at things differently, but a lot of times you forget that you have that. I think it's a lot like the flipping your lid that we talk to the kids about is like you get stuck in that kind of mindset and then you forget that you even have another mindset that you can shift into. Um, and then practicing, of course, it because the more that you use it and the more that you practice it, the easier it is. Um, and then it also just being in your sage brain more often will help you be more resilient and help you with your growth mindset. Um, and then talking a little bit more about growth mindset. I really like the picture of the kiddo giving up with the white flag. And how when you have a fixed mindset, there you have more of a more of a chance of being stuck and just not proceeding at all. Um, let's see here. And then practical ideas for mind shifting, deep breathing, positive affirmations, and journaling. In second grade, in my second grade class, we do uh, we tell our brains the nice things right before we leave the door. We're all lined up to leave, and we say, "I am kind, I am brave, I am smart, I am strong, I am loved, and I am a helpful heart." And then I go, "Let's go," and then we all leave for the day. But I've told them before, you have to tell your brain those things because sometimes you forget, and sometimes you don't hear it enough from other people. So, it's really important. Um, I actually had a student last year who broke his arm, and one of the things that he was doing when he was breathing through all the pain was like telling himself, "I'm brave, I am strong." And I was just like, oh, just my heart was just grew a billion times. Some of the things that we can do with students and some of the other things we can do with other children is like role playing, mindfulness games, self-reflection. I love the little guy with the brain. I had a kiddo in my class today who was sitting on the top of his stool and he was just like, and he wasn't doing his work though, so I had to, break that up and tell him he could go back into his little mindfulness moment after. Um, and then that mind shifting will be a good thing to learn and to keep in practice for the future. It's not something you just learn, walk away from, and then don't ever think about again. So, I think that was the last of that. Yep, that was it. It wasn't the exact assignment, but I was kind of hoping that I could kind of get away with doing two things at once.
I don't know,
You
Jane.
did
Should we
a great
let her get
job.
away with it? I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Tammy,
I
should we let her get
loved
away
it.
with it?
Did that phrase that came from that movie, right? Or like I heard it in that movie about the in the 19, what was it, 50s and the maids and what was it called? Does anyone else know what movie I'm talking
The
Which
help,
phrase? Which
help,
The Help. The Help.
help. Yeah.
the hell?
I
Ah.
feel like I've heard the phrase before,
Hmm,
and it was so good. Thank you, Tanisha, for saving me.
hmm.
I love that movie, and I love it when we get children and other people to just keep saying how wonderful they are, just like we heard with somebody with the affirmations around the mirror, and really well done. We are kind of at the end of our time, but if anybody didn't get to share and they want to kind of give a quick blurb, you're welcome to. Mitch and I and Tammy are going to kind of hang out for a minute, answer any questions, but otherwise, um, great job. You guys
Yeah,
did
yeah.
amazing. And we'll reach out if there's anything that you're missing for credit hours or anything like that. Otherwise,
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic class.
yeah, I want to just say if you're interested, my new book is going to be coming out in December.
It's
And
so good, guys.
you could download it free. I'm just going to go to my so the website is MindShifting with Mitch, and if you go to here on the top right, books, and then it says volume 3 here, you get to this page. Here it will describe the books, but then if you wanted to sign up here for the, early access, you click here, you'd fill this out, and then you get access to a PDF of the book. Um, if any of you are interested in that, it's free.
It's really worth reading. I'm not just saying that because I work with Mitch, but like he let me read a copy of it and I kind of refer to it a lot and I find that there's a lot of examples in there that are helpful in our own life. So give it a shot, especially if it's free. Like worth it. Worth every penny.
Right, right. That's about what it's worth, right?
No, it's
But
really well done.
I hope if you do, I hope you get a lot out of it. And for me, thank you. Okay, so is there a hard copy? The hard
There will
copy
be.
will be out roughly the 1st of December. So, yes, there will be a hard copy. It'll be on Kindle. There'll be an audio book. The audio book will probably come out about 3 or 4 weeks later because there's work I have to do. There's a lot of diagrams in the book, and in the audio book, I have to figure out how to describe those diagrams so somebody who's listening can understand what's there. But so thank you all. As always, myself, I
No.
learn so much from you all, and I have so much respect for what you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you.
Can you just give us a quick thing? How do you claim for the clock hours?
Okay, so it's a little bit different in New York or Washington. In Washington, what will happen is we will leave the course open for about another week or so that people who haven't completed everything get a chance to complete, and then we will submit it to one of the ESDs. It then takes them a couple days to process it. Once they process it, you will get an email that you've had the course, and in the state of Washington, I guess you pay for your clock hours, so it's going to be $5 plus $3 per clock hour. So if you went for
So
right,
60, I think it's $60 if you did everything and completed everything and you want all those clock hours, 60
right.
for
So
it.
or plus they charge a $5 registration fee, so it's $65. In New York, you get I again, it's going to be a week, and then I'm going to submit it to the New York State Teacher Centers. The New York State Teacher Centers then process it. They then send you an evaluation form, and I think you have to fill out the evaluation form before you get your clock hours, and then they send you some type of certificate. And in New York, I think your schools have to award you the clock hours, but most of the people from New York, I think before you took the course, you already got approval to take the course. So that's how clock hours work.
So who do you pay the money to? I'm from Washington.
So
you,
if you go on to the right on, like right through the, what do we log in through a PD Enroller, and right on there, like how you signed up for this class, after Mitch kind of says that you've done the class and it's submitted, then you will get, it'll say submit payment for clock hours. It'll be like the final part after you do the survey, and then they just take your money. So PD Enroller will do it. You can do it all right through there. Does that help?